for this first Matthews McDavid game?
You know, obviously everybody's excited about it, and you know, you got two of the premier young players in hockey that you know are obviously the future of both organizations, and throw that in with a bunch of other kids who are playing really well. So it's exciting for both Toronto and Edmonton. It's not just Austin, it's not just Connor. There's some good young players on both teams, and expectations go up with that. But, you know, as is always the case when you get two guys of that caliber, people sort of zero in on the goods and the bads of what happened that night. But, you know, I said this recently that, you know, I remember being 18 and being compared to Dion or Lafleur, and before you know it, all of a sudden you're 26 and that new kid's coming in, and you're like, is the Lemieux the next Gretzky? And so it goes by really quickly. So just enjoy it, and both those kids seem to understand their scenario and their responsibility to not only the team and the league but to the city, and they're both really good, young, mature kids, and it's great for hockey. It's great to see.
How did you handle it when all the focus was on you?
Well, it's different. You know, there's much more focus now and much more media and much more attention. The game's bigger. It's tougher probably now than it was for us. And then, you know, I broke in with a bunch of guys. Mess was 18, and Paul was 18, and Kevin Lowe was 20, and Grant Fuhr was 18, and we were all in it together. I guess in a lot of ways both these teams are similar to that. They got a lot of young guys, but we had really good leadership when we were in Edmonton, Lee Fogelin and Colin Campbell and Dave Dryden. So we just kind of looked to the older guys who had been around and experienced it before. For me, I was lucky enough that, you know, Glenn had played a lot with Bobby when Bobby Orr was young in Boston. So he kind of understood what Bobby went through at 18, 19, and that kind of helped me probably an awful lot.
Do you feel like when you went into Pittsburgh or Pittsburgh came into Edmonton, it was suddenly the two of you mentioned?
Absolutely, it fires you up. You know, and anybody who says it doesn't, it's, you know, listen, it's a team game, but individually you got pride too, and that's what makes superstars Hall of Famers, is that you have that pride as a player and as an athlete that, although it's, you know, the concern is about the team, but you get fired up, and Mario got fired up, and Guy Lafleur got fired up when he played against me, and I got fired up when I played against guys like Dion. That's what makes the game great. But ultimately, you're going to have some tough nights. You're going to have some good nights, and it's imperative and it's important to what the team does. That's the biggest thing. But all eyes will be on those two kids. There's no question about it. I'll be watching. That's why I flew in. I'm excited to see the game, and I think it's great for our sport.
What do you think about
That's something special in different mental ability that pushes you to a level that
I'm sorry, I missed
the
it.
best have something different in them?
Well, I think that from my perspective, the best athletes want to be in those situations, whether it was Larry Bird and Magic Johnson or John McEnroe at Wimbledon or Mark Messier in a Game 7. The best athletes accept that responsibility, and they don't look at it as pressure. They look at it as fun. You know, we used to say in Game 7, where else would you rather be? This is what we dreamed about as kids. And if you accept that and understand that responsibility, it makes the game that much more fun. Now listen, you're going to have some times where it doesn't go your way, but if you just accept that, that it's part of the game. And I'm really think that those two kids, Austin and Connor, both #1 picks overall, they've accepted their responsibility and their role not only to the teams but to the league, and they're so mature. They obviously the tremendous upbringing from their families, and it's great for our sport. It's the game gets better, and these kids are about as good as I've ever seen. There's no question about that.
Can you describe the responsibility when it's not just to your team and kind of but to the game when you're that good?
I think they know it. You know, both of them have never. It's not like they just got thrown into the frying pan and said, "Okay, you guys are sort of the new faces of the league." Listen, these kids were good at 14 and 15, and Austin went and played at Europe as a 17-year-old with men, and I think that was a good thing for him. And you know, you get to play against men, and it makes you that much better. And for Connor, he's been in the limelight since he was a young boy, and you know, he handles himself very well. He's really just a very mature young man that's loving playing in Edmonton, and he's accepted his responsibility of being the captain at a young age, and good for him. And, you know, so the game is in great shape right now in every which way we look, and it's getting better all the time.
Do you see any of yourself in McDavid or Matthews?
Well, I wish I could skate as fast as those guys. And I wish I was as big as those guys. You know, it's a different time, and I say this all the time. I played in the right era. I played with the right players. I had the right coach. You know, Glenn built his team around the Winnipeg Jets of the 70s from the WHA, and he wanted a skating offensive team. And I benefited from that. These guys today are bigger and stronger, and, you know, everything's better. The equipment's better. The goalies are better. The players are better. They're bigger. And those two kids are a big part of the success of this league, and they got a great future in front of them. And as Gordie Howe said to me, you know, you work hard every single day, and good things will happen.
Wayne, you were living in Arizona at the time Austin was growing
Yep.
up. I mean, from your perspective, how unlikely is it that someone could come from that?
Well,
and
listen,
be this type of
you know,
player?
it's a great story, and you know, I know his parents worked hard and supported him and gave him every opportunity, and you know, it's one of the things that has changed a little bit in the Southwest, that, you know, the best athletes at 8, 9, 10, 11 played baseball, tennis, golf, whatever you can do in sort of in the Southwest, and now some of the best athletes like Austin are saying, you know what, I want to play ice hockey. And so that opens doors for a lot of other kids and gives everybody opportunities and exposure. And so what he's done is really something special, and his parents need to be commended, and all the support he's had around him, and good for them. It's a great story, and you know, you love to see good people succeed, and obviously he seems like a really good young man, and that's good for our sport.
Do you think your records are safe?
Hey, listen, you know, I say this all the time. All records are made to be broken. People say, what's your favorite record? My favorite record is 50 goals in 39 games, because I think that one is going to be tough to break. But other than that, 50 and 38 will be pretty tough. But, you know, as I said, Gordie Howe and Phyllis Vizito were there when I broke their records, and if somebody gets close to my records, I'll be the first person to shake their hands.